get started, Maureen.
Okay. Welcome everyone to this virtual community meeting to discuss NPA 2023-0020.01. My name is Maureen Meredith. I work for the City of Austin Planning Department. I'm the Plan Amendment Case Manager. If you haven't done so already, please let us know who is here in the chat box. You can type your name and organization if you're associated with one. Please mute your microphone if you're joining by phone, and please turn off your video if you're participating online to save bandwidth. This meeting is being recorded and will be publicly posted to the publicinput.com/neighborhood plan amendment cases website. If you do not want your image viewed publicly, please turn off your camera. And this neighborhood plan amendment website is the same website that was on the community meeting notice that you received in the mail. Mark Walters will be the meeting facilitator tonight. As I mentioned, I am the Plan Amendment Case Manager. Nancy Estrada is the Zoning Case Manager, but she will not be attending the meeting tonight. Basic case information. The agenda tonight will be basic case information, guidelines for group discussion, how to participate in this process, why is there a plan amendment application, what is a future land use map. I'll do a brief presentation outlining the applicant's plan amendment and zoning request, and then Ferris Clements will do a presentation, and then we will open the meeting to the questions and answers. So this property is within the South Congress Combined Neighborhood Planning Area in the East Congress sub area. Property address is 4202 South Congress Avenue. The plan amendment request is a portion of the 5.15 acres, and I'll show that on the map. The plan amendment case number is NPA 2023-0020.01. Project name is 4201 South Congress. The request is to change the future land use map from industry to mixed use on a portion of the map. And the associated zoning case number is C14 2023-0043. The existing zoning is LICONP, which is Limited Industrial Services District, Conditional Overlay Combining District Neighborhood Plan, and LINP, Limited Industrial Services District Neighborhood Plan 2, CSMUVNP, which is General Commercial Services District, Mixed Use Overlay Combining District, Vertical Mixed Use Building Overlay Combining District Neighborhood Plan. The property owner applicant is 4201 South Congress Avenue owner, LLC, a Delaware limited liability company, and the agent is Ferris Clements from Armbrust & Brown. Guidelines for group discussion. Please feel free to type your questions into the chat at any time during this meeting. We ask that you postpone your general comments during the Q&A session. And after staff and applicant presentations, if you would like to speak, please raise your hand by clicking on the hand symbol on the menu bar. If we have telephone participants, you will be able to speak and ask questions during this session, during the Q&A session of the meeting, and we will call out the last 4 digits of your phone number. Attendees will be muted upon arrival and through the staff and applicant presentations. Then we will open the floor to answer questions in the chat or by attendees raising your hands to speak. Similar questions may be grouped and answered together. If you're having connection issues, please turn off your video until called upon to ask your questions, and we ask that you be respectful to each other during this meeting discussion. As I mentioned, the meeting is being recorded and will be posted to this website. You can email or call me or Nancy with any questions or comments that you have. If you provide written comments, we will add them to the staff case reports. You will get a notice in the mail of the date and time of the Planning Commission and City Council hearings. If you live within 500 feet of the property, the meeting notice will have instructions on how to participate in these meetings. You can participate virtually and in person. The cases have not been scheduled for public hearings yet, but when they are, you'll get the notice in the mail. So why is there a plan amendment application? Neighborhood plans are adopted by City Council as amendments to the Imagine Austin Comprehensive Plan, and the city charter requires zoning changes to be consistent with the comprehensive plan. And most neighborhood plan amendments are amendments to the plan's future land use map, also called a FLUM. And most neighborhood plan amendments have an associated zoning application. This map shows the areas in blue that have city council approved neighborhood plans, all of which, like the South Congress Combined Neighborhood Plan, have a plan document that have the vision and goals of the planning area, and most of which also have a future land use map. And this is what this plan amendment application is amending. So the plan amendment, the future land use map has colors that represent broad land uses. For example, on this property is mixed use and industrial, and mixed use is shown in the brown and industry is shown in the purple. The other colors would be red for commercial, yellow for single family, etc. Here's a zoomed in shot of the property. You can see the majority of which is brown, which is the mixed use land use. And the corner to the right is the industry land use in purple. So here's an aerial photo that shows the property just south of Ben White, east of South Congress, and just north of Industrial Boulevard. Here's a Google map that shows some of the surrounding uses of the property. And again, this just shows the one portion that is actually changing on the FLUM, proposed to be changed from industry to mixed use. The rest is already mixed use. Zoning map that shows the portion of the property with LI-NP zoning, and then the corner has the LI-CO-NP. This is the growth concept map from the City of Austin's comprehensive plan. These blobs of color represent regional centers, town centers, neighborhood centers. And then the next map shows the property in relation to those centers. And you can see the property is just along South Congress Avenue, which is designated as an activity corridor. It's just south of St. Edward's Neighborhood Center and about less than a mile from the McKinney Center, which is the purple on the right, and about 1.25 miles from the Dove Springs Neighborhood Center. Here is the property in proximity to public transportation. You can see some along South Congress, South First, and along East Ben White. And that ends my presentation. I'll stop sharing and then Ferris can begin his.
Great. Okay. Okay. Can everybody see my presentation here?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Ferris Clements. I'm with
Ferris,
Armstrong
can you
Brown.
hold a sec? Someone was saying they couldn't see the last slides, and I just got that. I'm going to see if he can see. Now he sees it. Just wanted to make sure he was able to view the slides. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I
Oh, no worries, no worries.
Okay.
Well, thank you again, Maureen, and to Mark for setting this up. Again, my name is Ferris Clements. I'm with Armstrong Brown. I'm representing the applicant. Applicant tonight is, we have Gavin Greenbloom here with Red Car Properties. So he'll be free to answer any questions that y'all might have for him. So first, I'd like to take a moment to describe the application we're here to discuss this evening. As Maureen explained in her presentation, the city generally processes two different kinds of land use applications. The first one is an amendment to the future land use map. That's the one we're here to discuss today. The future land use map, as the name suggests, sets expectations for the direction that a property will go in the future, but it does not change a property's actual entitlements or the development standards. Changes to entitlements are handled through a separate process known as rezoning. Rezoning is the step when things like uses, floor to area ratio, and other standards can be changed. So a FLUM change sets expectations for what type of use is appropriate in the future, but it doesn't actually change any development standards. And then rezoning is a separate process in which an applicant can request changes to development standards. And tonight we're here to discuss the first step of the process, which is the flum change. As Maureen showed you earlier, the property is located at 4201 South Congress. This is just south of Ben White's. This is the applicant owns it's a little over 5.5 acres for the total acres of the site. This case is a little unique because the flum request is for a small sliver of our property. The majority of the property right now, the flum is for mixed use and a small portion is industry. This is all one lot. This is probably we're not sure when this happened. It was probably some type of ghost lot where this was subdivided or replatted in the past, but nevertheless, we're looking to change the flum for this to mixed use to be congruent with the entire site. For context, mixed use refers to properties that can provide a mix of different uses. Oftentimes, this means providing some commercial along the ground floor with some residential units above. The city originally adopted these flum designations as part of the South Congress Combined Neighborhood Plan. Since then, the city's needs have obviously grown and evolved, which has made flum amendments like this one necessary to keep the neighborhood plan up to date. This case requests extending, obviously, the mixed use to the tracks here where it's marked by this purple area, which is consistent with the existing mixed use designations on this block already, and it's consistent with the way that the South Congress corridor, particularly in this area, is growing and evolving. There's a lot of mixed use development going on over here in active cases to get more mixed use in this area. Redcar, the applicant, currently has a zoning case for this. We have an application for CSMUV. As I mentioned before, any rezoning with this, we're still working on our plans for this, so we're not here to answer any questions about the rezoning because we're still working on our plans for the sites, but we do have an application in for the zoning. And I think that covers pretty much everything right now. I think Maureen covered a lot of this as well, but we're here to answer any questions you might have. Again, Gavin Greenbloom with Redcar Properties, who is representing the applicant, is on as well to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ferris. So we have two people here. So either Peter or Howard, if you have any questions, just jump right in. I don't think we need to raise our hand with just two people.
Yeah, so this is Howard. I'm with the neighborhood association of the Oldham Neighborhood Association, which is south and somewhat west of the property.
Okay.
This property that we're discussing is about a quarter-mile away, I think. Our primary concern as a neighborhood association is actually with the development of the Hills project, which is immediately south of our neighborhood. I can't speak for the neighborhood association, but I don't see any issues with this proposal to add the slice to the existing zoning for like 80% of the property. But I wasn't quite clear. What is the nature of the development that's proposed? Is this apartments, condos with first floor retail? What are we talking about?
We're still working on the plans for this, and Gavin, feel free to jump in, but we're still in the early process of figuring out our plans for this, but we just want to get this zoning updated. And the first step in that obviously is making sure that the flum is okay for the entire site. It'd be kind of funky if we had one little sliver that's industry. But again, we have existing tenants in here right now, so it's going to be a long process. But Gavin, if you want to have if you have more comments on this, feel free to hop in. But
no, I think, excuse me, I think Ferris has hit it right on the head. We're still.
Couldn't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We're still in the early stages of understanding our scheme. What we're looking at right now is a mix of office, retail, and housing, but unsure of what will happen at the end of the day.
Okay.
Also, just a little context. There's twice a year when people could submit these applications by right without, and that's in February for properties west of I-35 in July for those east. So at this time of the year, you tend to get a flurry of these, and people want to get them in during that time. So it's just, they don't have to wait a whole year or go through extra steps.
Understood.
So Peter, do you have a question? You can either unmute and ask it or put it in the chat.
Hello, Pete Barbarito. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Again,
I was just looking to see what the build out was gonna be, what the proposal was gonna be. I own a property at Public up the block on the same side of the street. With the city approving a lot of construction over there. The traffic has been quite unbearable. I don't know why the city approves everything at once. It's just so crazy. And to add another thing now to the traffic load is going to be fun. I don't know how long this process will take, but I just was trying to be on top of what's going on in the area.
Thank you. So any more questions from either of our two guests tonight?
None
No?
for me.
No, I'm good. On behalf of the neighborhood association, I will be interested to see how the plans evolve, the concrete plans for what you're actually going to do with the property, and I'll relate them to the neighborhood association. But as I say, I appreciate the comment that was made immediately prior about the traffic on South Congress. But let's face it, it's a major north-south artery. It was going to be served by light rail, which seems to have been thrown into doubt, unfortunately. But and I'm on this point, I am speaking for our neighborhood association. We think that prudent development along the South Congress corridor, which is close to our neighborhood, is both inevitable and desirable. You're gonna have to build somewhere, and if this corridor is already served by express bus, hopefully light rail will come down here. So my view is, don't do anything unreasonable, but do it.
Thank you. So Maureen, you want to go over the next steps in the process, and we can wrap up well before our 7:30 scheduled ending.
Sure. So let me get my presentation back up. Oh, that's not mine. Hold on. Sorry. There we go. So here's my contact information and also the zoning planner's contact information. So the next step is I will schedule a meeting with my plan amendment team, and we'll make a recommendation on the request to change the future land use map. We'll look at the neighborhood plan, we'll look at the comprehensive plan, we'll discuss any issues that came up at this meeting, and we'll pass our recommendation on to the zoning team. The zoning team will meet and they will make a recommendation on the zoning request. And once we have finalized the staff recommendation, which I don't know when that will be because I know we're kind of short zoning planners, then we'll start working with the applicant to schedule the cases for a planning commission and city council date. If you live within 500 feet, and if you receive this virtual community meeting notice, you'll get the public hearing notice in the mail. If you wanted to send me your comments to be added to the staff case report, it's better to send it now rather than later. And you can send it, you can email it to me and Nancy. I'll work with the planning contact team on getting their recommendation once we start getting a specific planning commission date scheduled. That's about it. Unless people have any questions about the next steps from me.
Yeah. Oh, well, I was going to add, expand on what Maureen was saying because of the there's quite a backlog of zoning cases, so it's going to take a little bit longer than usual. So probably 4 to 5 months easy before it goes to planning commission and city council, probably city council more so because of that. But I just want to let you know. And so you'll receive these notices and any closing comments, Gavin or Ferris.
I think that's it for me. My contact info is on that PowerPoint. That's going to be available. I think Maureen's going to post that as well. Feel free to give me a call or shoot me an email if you have any questions about this.
Actually, this video will be posted and they can fast forward or get to that. So, well, Howard, Peter, thank you for giving some of your time to find out about this project. And I'd like to wish everybody a good night. Thank you for showing up.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Thank you all.